Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Girlfriend, 24, of 1.5 years cheated on me 22, and I don't know how to deal with her not understanding that the relationship is over. Quick backstory on me. My now ex-girlfriend was my third relationship in my life, and I've also been cheated on in both of my previous relationships. This is to say that I've already made a lot of mistakes you can make after being cheated on. The pick-me attempts, taking them back, getting violent towards the affair partner, and other stupid mistakes you make when you get cheated on. I've learned from these experiences. This sub has already helped me a lot. I was love-bombed and gaslit in both of the previous relationships, but I didn't even know what those terms meant at the time. I was blind to red flags and just made stupid decisions overall. After not dating for 2 years, I met my current ex-girlfriend. She was the exact opposite of me, extroverted, loud, and the life of the party. We first met at a party and she came up to me and asked me if I wanted to dance. I got uncomfortable and confused since she was extremely gorgeous, but at this point my self-esteem was at rock bottom. I just stood there not saying anything for a minute. She then just took my hand and dragged me onto the dance floor. I actually like to dance, so I didn't fight it, and she spent the night just animating me to have fun and interact with people I hadn't met before. It was really fun, and she asked for my number at the end of the night, so I gave it to her. After talking and going out for 2 weeks, I told her about my past relationships and that I didn't know if I wanted to pursue another one. She was very understanding, but still said that she wanted me to be with her. I agreed, and for the next 1.5 years, she showed me what a relationship should actually be like. She respected my feelings, asked me how my day was, actually talked to me if something was wrong, and a lot of other small things that really showed she cared about me. I regained my self-esteem, and of course loved her as much as I could every single day. We had arguments, but it was always productive and trying to find a solution, and never us screaming at each other. She made me feel loved and desired. This brings me to my D-Day, which was now 2 weeks ago. I was on a language travel for 1.5 months. We talked to each other daily, and I never noticed anything weird about her behavior. I got home 3 days earlier than planned and wanted to surprise her. I got back to her apartment at 11 p.m. I figured that if she wasn't awake, I'd just lie next to her and surprise her that way, since I was also tired. I went into her apartment with her spare key and walked towards the bedroom. When I looked inside, I saw my girlfriend sleeping next to a guy I had never seen before. I felt all the emotions I had felt before, and knew that the only good decision was to just walk away until I had calmed down. I went to my car and drove to my home. I tried to sleep but couldn't, even though I was tired. For the next 2 days I didn't let her know what I saw, and just replied to her messages like nothing happened. I immediately told my best friend though, let's call him Mr. Krabs since that's what I call him. He really helped me emotionally and got me into the boxing gym where I could let go of most of my anger. Hitting the speed bag is one of the most therapeutic physical experiences I know. I don't know why though. Maybe it's the rhythmic banging of the speed bag. I actually cried for the first time in 13 years talking to him. We talked about what I wanted to do now and how I would confront her. After all of this was done, I visited my girlfriend on the day I was supposed to return. When I arrived, she was very cheerful and went in for a hug. But I held my arm out and told her that we needed to talk. I then told her all the things I talked through with Mr. Krabs. I told her that I had actually returned 3 days early and wanted to surprise her. But when I went into her bedroom, I saw somebody else sleeping beside her. The cheerfulness she displayed completely vanished, and she looked like she saw a ghost. She tried starting to talk, but I told her that I would first be getting everything I want to say off my chest, since she owed me at least that much. I continued to talk to her about how much she had hurt me, but that I didn't hate her. I told her that I always would have listened to any problem she had and tried to work it out with her, but that her cheating on me was the immediate end of our relationship. I told her all of my thoughts that I had organized with Mr. Krabs. At the end, I basically told her that I wouldn't be in her life anymore, but that I still hoped she'd be happy with the new guy. She already started crying as I was talking, but when I said the last sentence, she started crying harder than any other time I had seen her cry. After she somewhat composed herself, she started saying that the guy didn't mean anything, that it was a one-time thing, she'd never do it again, and all the other things that I've seen written down in this sub before. I told her that she knew exactly how much it would hurt me, and she still did it, so I couldn't take her back. At this point, she started talking about how much of a terrible human being she is, and that she should just die. I didn't want to leave her like that, so I tried calming her down, but she kept talking about how she doesn't want to live if I'm not with her. So I called her best friend over and explained the situation before leaving. After this was done, I sat in my car and on the way home started crying again. I suppressed my emotions as much as possible in front of her, but I was still a wreck. Now we finally get to the reason I am posting on this sub. Since the day I confronted her, she has been spamming my phone with texts and calls to the point where I had to block her. After I blocked her, she drove to my apartment and started ringing the doorbell, begging me to talk to her. I tried ignoring her and the ringing stopped at some point. When I went out a bit later to buy groceries, she was still in front of my house waiting for me. I didn't see her, but as soon as I walked out the door, she threw herself at me, telling me how sorry she was, and that we needed to talk. I told her that I had already said everything there is to say. After getting her off of me, I asked her to stop bothering me so I could heal. But she isn't listening. Every time I go out, I weirdly run into her. Sometimes alone, sometimes with her friends, but she always mysteriously shows up wherever I go. I keep ignoring her, but she still won't stop. How do I deal with this? I still like her and hope she gets better, but she isn't respecting anything I told her about me needing space from her to heal. She would have always listened to a request like this, but she's been acting so weird ever since I confronted her. She even gets her friends to write to me about how I should forgive her and take her back. But anyone that wrote that to me I already have blocked. It just makes me sad seeing her like this and I don't know what to do anymore. I don't want to move since most of my friends are in this city, and the apartment I'm renting is perfect for me. I don't want to get a restraining order, but at this point, I might have to. Thank you for reading. Any advice would be much appreciated. Now for the top advice. If she always shows up at the places you go to, check your phone for a tracking app. Also check your car for a tracking device. Good luck. She is probably tracking my phone. Thank you for the advice. I'll get someone who knows what they are doing to take a look at my phone and I'll check my car. Speaking of your car, a lot of newer cars, like mine, have a phone app from the manufacturer that allows you or another user to check the car's status and location. If you have one of those, change the password. You're 1 year younger than me, but hundreds of years ahead of everyone my age when it comes to emotional maturity. Well done. My previous experiences showed me a lot of things I did wrong, but this time I'm satisfied with how I handled it. Thank you for the kind words. Previous nicks created scabs that are hard to cut again, that also leave you full of insecurity that allow you to settle. You ignore yellow signs and only react for the red ones. I believe a woman's body is her own, and she can do whatever she likes with it. Odds are, not with me. If she's in the bars or clubs 3 to 4 nights a week, she's for the pub. If she doesn't want to make you a priority in her life, don't make her a priority in yours. Seems like your problem is you haven't chosen yourself first. Women think that you are lucky to be with them. You will continue this cycle until you learn that you have value, and any woman would be lucky to be with you. Your relationships will change when you realize that you are the star in your life, and everyone else is only allowed in it to add value. The moment they make you uncomfortable or unhappy, cut them out. Stop getting women to have a woman. Get a partner who is willing to constantly contribute to your life, not someone whose self-value is such you are lucky to share them. First of all, huge props for how you handled this. I can't imagine any better way how to handle this. What I would do in your case would be to give her one more chance to leave you alone. Write her a letter where you tell her that you see no reason in talking to her, since she has showed you clearly how good she is at lying to you. You also don't believe that the one time she cheats on you is the one time you catch her. What are the chances? And most of all, you have no desire to talk to her because she never made any attempt to come clean, which shows you that she planned to lie to you forever. She had more than enough time to come clean before you met with her. Because of all that, you can't believe a single word that comes out of her mouth, and that makes any conversation unnecessary. If she wants to show you that you meant anything to her, then she can show that the best way by respecting your wish for distance and stay as far away from you as she can. If she won't do that, then you will be forced to go to the police to get a restraining order. Stay strong and stay on your path. You are doing that great, champ. And keep on going to the boxing gym. It will be good for you. Last but not least, since she showed you how good she is at lying to you, you better assume that this wasn't her first rodeo. So go to a doctor and get tested for STDs. Better safe than sorry. Thank you for reminding me to get an STD check. I just called my doctor. Also, the letter is a great idea. My mom used to write letters to me to convey her feelings after a disagreement. Thank you for all the encouragement. Now for the last story. 3 days after I caught my husband cheating, he attempted to take his life. I cannot believe I am writing this. I am in hospital and I don't want to subject my friends and family to every outraged thought in my mind, so I am choosing this sub to make an outlet. Short of it, I found out 3 days ago that my husband had been sleeping with multiple men unprotected in our own home over the past few months. I am 6 months pregnant. I posted about it here, and after talking to him I told him there is no way I can ever get past this and we have to separate. I know it sounds like a no-brainer, but it was so hard for me to say since I have been with him over a decade. This is our first child together. I am in my early 40s, and I thought I knew him and loved him. I guess I still do, even though I am sickened by what he did. He has been begging me to give it another chance, but I am just refusing. I got a call from the ER at the hospital today as his next of kin, because he had taken an overdose of sleeping pills, then called the ambulance. He was taken to hospital and I had to go and show up and see him. When I started experiencing severe abdominal pain and palpitations and ended up being admitted myself. They are confident it is okay and just brought on by stress. My husband's sister came to visit him and then me. He had told her what happened. I hadn't spoken to her, and she was sympathetic at first, but then I blurted out something like, I am just so furious at him for doing all of this to me, and she got angry and defensive, and said that the cheating was inexcusable and she can understand my pain. But the attempt to take his life shows how much pain he is in over this and his sexuality, and she is shocked I am not more empathetic since I love him for so long. I was just lost for words. What about the pain I am in? I find out my best friend and husband has been doing this. I am pregnant and in hospital and trying to deal with the fact my marriage is over because of his actions. I am not trying to sound self-pitying. I know that it sounds like that, and I didn't mean that his self-ending attempt was him doing something to me. I just meant that everything he has done has put me in such an awful situation, and I just cannot believe she isn't even thinking about my pain. I just can't believe what a mess my life is now. Our lives just look like normal, bland, suburban, corporate people with no mess. And now this. Sorry for the incoherent rambling. I am just in total shock over everything. Now for the comments. Another one with minions who use his identity as a weapon to silence the betrayed spouse. This is not about being gay. It's about his betrayal and his blatant manipulative move to pretend to end himself. Move back to your family. Get away from his family of toxic supporters. Discovering that you are bi or gay does not give you a pass to hurt others. Let him recover with their help. Let them see him for real when you are no longer around as a buffer to absorb their criticism. They'll quickly realize what you've been through because his selfishness will show itself. Yep, take pills, check. Call 911, check. Get sympathy from sister and make wife a bad guy if she leaves and doesn't support, check. I don't doubt he has self-ending thoughts right now. He's at risk. That said, a cry for help is just that, and he needs to get the help necessary to work through his issues with identity, betrayal, and so on. But it doesn't have to be OP. Firstly, your primary concern has to be you and your baby and your well-being. You're allowed to be selfish. That's a good thing. Secondly, your ex is not your responsibility any longer. Take your name off as his next of kin. Block him and his sister from your life. You owe him nothing. He may have struggled with his identity, but that's not your burden to bear after he put your mental and physical health at risk. You owe him zero empathy. You are allowed to be angry and hurt. The way your ex deceived you erased all the 10 years of love in each and every go he had cheating on you. Your ex clearly has a caring sister in his life. Let her take the burden of empathy for him. You have every right to be completely done with him. Thank you. I needed to hear this. I moved away from my family and friends circle across the other side of the country 5 years ago for his career. Had he actually told me that he thought he was bi or unsure, I would have absolutely talked to him about it. He even knows I am bi. Instead, he chose to meet random men, have unprotected activities while I was at home and sleeping. I just can't feel sympathy with him right now, and I cannot believe that's what I am being asked to do. Surely, I deserve some for Pete's sake. He has completely unraveled my life. Do you have family or friends you can stay with where you came from? Putting a country between you and him may be what's best for your pregnancy. It's only been 3 days and I haven't even told my family. I really don't know what to do. My job is here and our home. My closest friends are on the other side of the country and I have told a couple of them. One is flying over to be with me as she can work remotely. I will have to work all of this out, but I am just so overwhelmed right now. Him being with a man doesn't matter. Cheating is cheating. If it was a woman, he would be hated, but because it was with a man, he's getting sympathy. Heck no. And unprotected too. No respect. You are pregnant and need to spend every ounce of energy on your precious baby. Tell yourself you will worry about this other stuff later. That's what I'm telling myself. I'm 7 months pregnant and was told about my husband's affair via Instagram by his affair partner. I found out at 15 weeks pregnant. It has been robbing me of my pregnancy, but I keep telling myself I'll deal with all that later. Right now is my time with the baby. Of course, it's not easy and 100% possible, but doing the best I can. You can do it too. Good luck. I am so sorry you are in this situation. Thanks so much for your comment. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Husband told me that he's leaving me. Then he became mad that I didn't seem that heartbroken. Plus update. Original post. About 2 weeks ago, I was on my way out to a work outing with my coworkers when my husband told me he wanted to talk to me. He said he's met someone new and that he wanted to leave me. We have been together for 15 years, married for over 10. We have 2 children together. The feelings I had were a mixture of relief and immense pain, but mostly relief. We haven't been happy for at least 3 years, and beside bedroom activities and the children, we have nothing in common anymore. We live 2 completely different and separate lives but under the same roof. I felt relief that one of us was courageous enough to pull the plug. I can't explain why I felt the pain though. He talked on about how we were going to do this, the children, the house, and so on. He said that he had found a 1-bedroom and that he was moving out until everything was settled and I could keep the house and other stuff. When he was finished, I was about an hour late to the outing. I ordered an Uber and chose to wait for it outside. I got a text from one of my coworkers, Mark, that I was so late it wasn't even fashionable anymore. I took my phone to answer him, but I guess I got a text from my husband at the same time, so I texted him this, in my language. Oh Mark, you don't know the half of it. My husband was dumping me, so that took a minute. I guess I'm free now. And a laughing emoji. Tell you more when I see you. I'm on my way. Since the beginning of the year, many of my coworkers were splitting and getting divorced. We were saying that our department was being cursed, until Mark, the most recent one to separate, still going through divorce, jokingly said it wasn't a curse, it was freedom. I was referring to that, but my husband, who got the text instead of Mark, was angry about how indifferent I was to start joking 5 minutes after I was told my 15-year relationship was over. I explained about the curse to him, but he didn't care to listen. Now he is refusing to move out and has gone back on the divorce. He doesn't speak to me and refuses to answer when I ask when he was moving out. One of the last conversations we had, he told me that he was planning on being generous with me during the divorce, but now he's going to take me for everything I've got and held dear. I told him that he can't, because freedom is what I held dear. He slapped me hard across my face. This is the first time he ever done this. Later, I heard him crying in the bathroom. I'm 42, my husband is 45, and our children are 12 and 11 boys. Should I apologize about that text? It wasn't meant for him, but still, why does he care when he's already moving on? Edit, I need to clarify 2 things. 1. Yes, my husband has someone new, he wasn't lying about it. A 25 or 26-year-old that he works with. I don't know if he is sleeping with her or just fallen in love with, and therefore was asking for divorce before acting on his feelings. I believe it's the latter. He has rented an apartment and was going to move out after telling me. He hasn't yet. I can't move out because I want to be with my children. 2. No, I'm not having an affair with Mark. It happened that he was the one texting me when I ran late to the work outing. But I've been talking to him about what happened, and he feels somewhat guilty. We're a bit closer now, but I'm not a cheater. And even if something happens between Mark and me, I'm waiting until divorce. Or at least the separation is public if the divorce drags out for years like my husband now seems to want. I have self-respect, and I have my boys to think about, so I would never cheat, neither physically nor emotionally. Now for the top comments before reading the update. So he cheated on you, got mad you weren't heartbroken over it, and so decided to hit you. You hurt his baby ego. Get a lawyer. I already have a lawyer. When he told me we were divorcing, I hired one. We don't have much assets, so there won't be problems, but he said he was moving out 2 weeks ago, but still he's living with us. I've moved to the living room. Do not give this man an apology. He got physical with you. You don't owe him anything. Please document everything. He is starting to emotionally and now physically mistreat you because he doesn't feel in control of the situation. Next time, call the police immediately. You can get a restraining order and make him leave. Also, didn't he say he met someone? If he did, he was cheating and you need to get evidence for the divorce. Don't apologize for the text. Why would you? He is butthurt because he didn't get a chance to devastate you. Maybe he wanted you to play the pick-me dance for him. And what the heck is he crying for? He literally did this all to himself. I also thought it was ridiculous that he was crying when it was my face that was throbbing from his slap. Now for the update. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to inform you that I've found an apartment that's going to be available in September. I'm really relieved because now I don't have to feel like I'm trapped with an ex who doesn't know what he wants. I'm filing for divorce when I've moved out with my children, and hopefully he's going to be civil. Unfortunately, I had to be the one telling my children that we're separating because he refused to break the news together with me. My heart is broken and I've been crying ever since. The look in their eyes of being let down makes me regret getting to this stage in our relationship without trying to fix it. My youngest asked me if he could do something to fix it, maybe be a better son. God, I hope they forgive us for breaking up their home. My husband is acting very weird. He's apologized profusely for hurting me, and he is trying to initiate intimacy with me, and I find it weird and so wrong. He also told me his new girl wants children and he doesn't. He had vasectomy after our children, so I don't know how he's going to do it. He also talked about having her moving into our home if I left. I told him that he needed to think about our sons. I'm not allowing him to introduce a new person in their life so fast, and without it being a serious relationship. He asked me why I was jealous, and I told him I wasn't. I just don't want my children to experience instability. So if he's going to let her move in, the children are staying with me until his relationship is serious. He's already having problems with this new girl before they even moved in together, and he wanted her in my son's lives. He said again I was jealous, so I dropped it. Finally, he asked me where we went wrong. I couldn't answer him at first, but then I told him that we were probably never right. You've hit your wife. Maybe it took you 15 years to show your real self, but you did it in the end, and I would never have loved a man who does this to his wife. So, we were never right. He cried. When you go for the divorce, have your attorney put a clause in there that he can have no other adult stay overnight while the kids are there. I didn't think it would work, but that's the only good thing that came from my divorce. I am the guy. Is that possible? Absolutely. She filed for divorce and thought she would move in with her boyfriend with our daughter. I asked my attorney to ask for that in my reply. The judge agreed, and it was added to the papers and filed. My children are 11 and 12. If it goes to court, whatever they want will be taken into consideration. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. Seriously, I am stunned. So he had an affair, leaving the marriage, and upset about you texting to your coworker because of it, and giving you difficult time and delaying divorce. He is next level. This forum is just opening my eyes to how cruel and unforgiving people can be. All the best. Hope you get to a happy place soon. Yes, your comment sums it up pretty accurately. But I also think he's delaying the divorce because he's having trouble in his relationship. I'm 100% sure if he didn't have problems with her, he already would have dropped me and moved out. Oh, I see what you are saying. Great that it's not your problem anymore. By the way, based on all of the things you have described, he seems a little unhinged. He letting go of common decency with slapping you, saying you are jealous. Just trying to inflict pain for his failures, I guess. You will have to co-parent, so it's good that you are not engaging. I am not getting why did you feel like you had to apologize to him? Is it because you were already checked out? In any case, good riddance, go out and have fun. You have your kids and independence. Our relationship hasn't been good in years, but we never fought or had any disagreements, so it was going smoothly. I think he met this new girl and was excited about life again, until they started having problems. He has always been a bad loser, so probably me feeling free while he feels he needs to start over, felt like he's losing. I suggested he found a woman who is also in his stage of life, or at least a single mom or child-free. He's stupid thinking a young girl would want to live a life of a 45-year-old man. But he just thinks I'm jealous, so I'm not trying to give him advice anymore. Him slapping me was the worst and most shocking. I never knew he was capable of doing it, but it made our separation final. I don't know if he also was shocked because he's crying all the time. Now for the last story. Update: I hate that my boyfriend is a gamer. Original post: my boyfriend, 28 male, and I, 21 female, have been together for about 6 months now, but we were FWB for about a year and a half before that. We've also been living together for about 5 months now, and this is my first time ever living with a partner. I'm currently 32 weeks pregnant with our son. He's put off quite a lot because he would rather be gaming. I've done all the baby stuff, went to all the doctor's appointments myself. I do most of the cooking and cleaning. It makes me feel like we're just roommates. He gets up maybe an hour before work, goes to work, comes home, and will game until he has like 4 to 5 hours of sleep left before he has to wake up. That's all he does: game, sleep, work, smoke weed, maybe some bedroom fun, and eat. I understand how fun and how much of an escape video games can be. I love to game myself. I just haven't had time for it because I've been trying to get things ready for the baby, and took up more shifts at work to save up. It makes me resentful and jealous that he can do his fun things but I can't. Someone has to do the work, and it's all fallen on me. Recently, I've been getting after my boyfriend about him helping me with the nursery. There's still so much left to do, and he promised me weeks ago that this is something we would work on together. I'm the only one that's done anything for it so far, and honestly, I'm the only one that's done anything baby-related throughout my pregnancy. When he asked me to move in, he made a lot of promises that he hasn't kept up with. I've told him how I feel about it before, and we recently had a big fight. I asked him a question, and he told me to get lost because he was playing his game, and he ignored me every time I tried to talk to him. So, I took my phone out and shut off the internet using the app. He absolutely lost it, like it scared me, and I asked him to leave. He called me all kinds of names and said I was ungrateful and that he should break up with me over something like that. I really didn't think he would blow up like that. I was just frustrated and tried to get his attention. He left that night and stayed at his brother's place. He said he won't come home yet and I apologized. I feel like I crossed a line I didn't know would just make everything fall apart. I feel like he really does hate me now. I don't know how else to apologize. I just wish things were different. Edit, I'd like to add that when I found out that I was pregnant and told him, he had to convince me to go through with the pregnancy and made many false promises to be better and to be a good parent. Now for the top comments before reading the update. If I did the math right, you were pregnant before you made it official. It sounds like he does not want this relationship, this family, and whatnot, but is going through with it because he knocked you up and feels responsible. This is a relationship where the bricks are made of all the wrong materials. You need trust, love, respect, communication, dedication, and you have none of that. You have a man who is having a whole lot of regrets, throwing a tantrum because, I am guessing, he feels his life is ruined. He probably hates that this is happening. You can't change his mind of that. You can't change his behavior, his attitude, or his outlook on his newfound reality. You don't have a family with him. You don't have the foundation of a home with him. You and this baby deserve better, and I hope someday you find just that. Yes, we weren't together when I got pregnant, and we made it official after I found out. The crazy thing is that I didn't even suggest that we make it official or that I move in. That was all his idea. I didn't even think that we should keep the baby if I'm honest, but he convinced me that we should, and that everything would be okay. I feel like such an idiot for even trusting that things would be different. It could be some values he was raised on. It might have even seemed exciting at first, until he realized that families require effort, work, and maintenance, not video games, and cracking a cold one with the boys while mama does everything. You deserve so much better. He should apologize to you. He's neglecting his family and refusing to take accountability. You don't have a boyfriend. You have an extra child. It feels like that sometimes. I'm always cleaning up after him. I've never even seen him do a single load of laundry once I moved in. Slight update. I don't want to post a full update yet, but he's decided to come back home today, so hopefully we can talk and maybe work things through. But I doubt it'll be any more productive than our previous conversations. I am going to give him an ultimatum though, as much as I hate to, but something has to change. Now for the full update. So he came home yesterday and I told him I wanted to sit down and talk things through. I told him that the way that he acted wasn't acceptable, and that I won't be tolerating anything like that again. I also said that I would need to see him help me out around the house more. He apologized for how he acted. He even brought me flowers. We both had off from work, so he took me out to eat. I've been craving Mexican, so he took me to my favorite Mexican restaurant. Everything seemed like it was resolved. When we got home from work, I took a shower and he said that we could work on the nursery together once I was done. By the time I got out and dried my hair, he was playing on the computer again. I tried not to get frustrated and waited until he was done with a game to try to get his attention. He just gestured at me to leave him alone and said in a few minutes he would log off. I went and did some laundry while I was waiting for about a half hour and came back. This time when I tried to get his attention, he was much more annoyed and said that he would get to it tomorrow, but he would come to bed with me tonight. So, I just gave up and went to bed early since I was tired anyways. I woke up hours later, around when he goes to bed. I could still hear him yelling on his game. I got up and asked him to come to bed. I guess his friends that he was playing with heard me, and he just started mocking me and making jokes. I could tell that he was pretty drunk. I reminded him about our talk and how I can't put up with this forever. He jokingly asked if I would turn off the internet again, and I said that I would, if that's what it takes for him to actually do something. You could see the switch flip in him, and he picked up a spare keyboard he just had on his desk and chucked it at me. Started yelling at me, and absolutely lost it like he did the other day. Well, I packed my things and just left to go to my parents. At first he made fun of me, called me names, then he started crying and apologizing. I didn't say a thing, grabbed what I could, and took my car to my parents. I called them on the way, so they welcomed me in and I went straight to my old room. I didn't sleep at all last night, and I called out of work for today. I'm just done. I don't know why I expected anything to change. Good on you leaving after he threw things at you while drunkenly insulting you. Tomorrow, or whenever you are ready, go back there and collect all your stuff and leave. Bring your parents or friends with you to help pack. This isn't a healthy place for you anymore. I asked my friends to go with me tomorrow while he's at work to get my things. I haven't told them all the whole story, but they're down to go with me, no questions asked, so that was nice. You have good friends. Make absolute sure to keep track of what you're taking, either through photos or a written list, in case he tries to get all uppity about you taking things that belong to him, and get cops involved. If he's as petty as he sounds, it's a possibility you might need to prepare for. When I was a lot younger and dumber, I ruined a relationship with my gaming. The first half of what you wrote sounded similar to how I behaved, up until the throwing of the keyboard. I deserve to get dumped, and your dude deserves to never hear or see you again. I've known a lot of violent men in my life, used to be friends with some. Don't let that dude ever guilt trip you into going back. He'll never change, the violence will only ever escalate. Good on you for leaving, but don't make the mistake of thinking he'll change for you. There's a difference between bad habits and violence. It sounds like OP subconsciously knew that he was capable of lying and manipulation beforehand. Considering his level of maturity just before and during the stress of a new baby, it sounds like it would have only escalated from there. Always better safe than sorry. Once boundaries are broken, it takes a mature person with integrity to possibly go back into those boundaries. That guy doesn't sound like that type. Now for the last update. Apparently, he had some outbursts at work in the past, which I knew. So I asked our coworker if they had footage of that, since they film everything. And there's footage of a freak out, and of him doing it with a coworker in the back room. So today has just been a great day.